Hi everyone, in this lecture we will talk about for loop. So we have another kind of a loop that works exactly same as while loop, but this has more concise syntax, right? So a for loop is again a loop which can be used to repeat any task any number of times, and this is how we define a for loop, right? So a for loop is equivalent to while loop, right? It is an entry controlled loop, and anything that you can write using while can be written using for. The only thing is, in while loop we had look at three conditions: the initial condition that you need to define before the loop starts, a stopping condition, and an update condition, right? So a for loop combines these three into a single line, right? So let's see how do we write a for loop, right? So for loop is defined like this: for followed by round brackets, you give the initial condition, you give the stopping criteria, and you also give the update condition, right? So what I can do is I can say, okay, int cliff end equals to 10. I have to stop at 10, and initially I'm at 0. So what I can do, for whatever x you have, so instead of saying like this, you can say, okay, initialize x with 0, and you can say x is less than cliff end. And how do you update x? You take x equal to x plus 1, and finally you say, okay, whatever we were doing in this while loop will now come inside the for loop, right? So in this case, the update condition is given in the for loop syntax itself, so you do not need to give the update equation explicitly here, right? That's it, right? So you can see it makes the code very simple, easy to understand, and all the important conditions are clubbed into a single line. So you have the initial condition, you have the stopping criteria, and you have the update criteria as well, right? So let's run this code and use a for loop, right? So taking one step, you are at 0. You take one step, you are at 1. You are taking one step, you are reaching 2. So this is an entry controlled loop. So you are at x equal to 0. 0 is less than cliff end. So you take one step and you are at 0, right? Then you update x, right? So it works exactly same as the while loop, right? And if you want to get the output exactly same like that, you may say, okay, you just print the value of x plus 1, right? This will give you the exactly same output as well, right? Okay, so you can see this output is now exactly same as the output produced by the while loop. So in while we were able to do x equal to x plus 1 first, then we were printing the value of x plus 1. So what you can do, you can also say this part is actually executed after this line, right? So when you use a for loop like this, the update equation is executed at the ending of the loop, right? After this line, right? But if you want this update equation to be executed first, so you can remove this update equation and you can put it here also. Okay, this is also fine. And in this case, you do not need to print x plus 1. It will automatically be the updated value of x, right? So the what change we made, so you can see this output is now exactly same as this output, which is also same as the output produced by the while loop. And this is what we were doing in the while loop also, right? So what you can do, you can also give initialization here. So either you can do it in a single line, or you can do it inside the for loop syntax as well, right? So now I have, instead of three things given here, I have only given the stopping criteria. So you can see this looks like a while loop only, right? Okay, but in general, talking about most of the programs, this statement comes at the ending of the loop, right? So it's preferred to write this statement here instead of writing it somewhere else, right? So generally you would be writing this update statement here only, right? So that's how for loop is going to work, right? And even this statement is optional. You can put a if block here, and you can say if this condition is false, you may break the loop, right? So as of now, this is how you can use a for loop, and this works exactly same as a while loop, right? Okay, so this is what for loop is.